Hello, everybody. It's good to be with you again. You know, my whole life is not actually spent in this kind of laughter and merriment, but I'll tell you what, a surprising amount of it actually is. And I live in the very same world that you do. So, and my situation would be, in many ways, would be considered far from ideal, although to some seekers, I remember what it's like. My situation would look ultimately ideal. Like, how does it get any better than that? And those are the ones who are right, but not from an objective standpoint, you know. So what I want to talk to you about today is a very important topic, and it's the bubble phenomena, the self-reflecting bubble. The reason I want to tell you this is that this video is probably going to set a lot of you free. Is the truth of it, you know, and it's tough because I can't even charge for it, you know. And I'm known to be such an internet pirate, you know. God Almighty, what's he doing, giving stuff away? Has he lost his mind? So the self-reflecting bubble is when we go through in an awakening session. That's when I really find this. Is when I'm in, or well, it can happen in a clarity session where the person's gone back to cloudiness, but usually it's going to be in an awakening session. If you've been bright, I can probably get you back to brightness. So this would be this phenomena will be in regard to an initial awakening, typically. And an initial awakening is exactly what it says it is. It's an initial awakening. It's not the end of anything. I remind you for the umpteenth thousandth time, but it is the beginning of authentic spirituality. Nonetheless, do not stay in the room with anybody who plays down initial awakening, because those who do just don't remember their own, or they haven't had one of the two. I'll tell you that. Because it's still the most important move that you will ever make in your entire spiritual life. And as far as I know, and I've been awake for 8.5 years and have gone through quite a bit of stuff and worked with hundreds of students, so there are my credentials. So at any rate, this self-reflecting bubble is when we see clearly. You know, this is what when we say, oh, I can understand this, but I can only get it intellectually, that's a self-reflecting bubble. That's the best example I can think of, is that it's a self-reflecting bubble. Because what you're saying there, you don't realize is what you're saying. I get that. Yeah, I said it too. I remember all this. And here's a self-reflecting bubble. See this woman? See here? See how she's caught in this bubble? What can that woman see from her position? She can see one or two things from that position. She can focus on what's outside the bubble and see a broader reality. Or she can focus on the inside of the bubble and she won't see anything but her. She'll just see a self-reflection. You see that? So that's ultimately what I'm talking about here. And the way that this will happen is because when we say that I understand this thing intellectually, but I don't really get it, that's really a form of denial, folks. I mean, this whole thing is about denial. Take it from a former dope addict and former alcoholic and a chain smoker former chain smoker for 30 years, and God Almighty, I mean, I can walk into almost any 12-step room and feel quite comfortable. Like, I'm Fred, I'm addicted to what you've got. What are we talking about? You know, so I've had them all. I understand a craving, and I understand the sense that. That's all I can do. That's all I can see. That's that's that. But we paint this thing. I'm trying to approach awakening now. Really, almost. You know, these words are so terrible. I mean, I lose people no matter where I go. If I say, I'm trying to be a little less spiritual, I'm going to lose some of the ones. Everything's spiritual, folks, so I can't be less spiritual or more spiritual. It's just everything is spiritual or nothing's spiritual, depending on which way you want to look at it. So when I talk about this as a philosophy, I want to do that because a philosophy is not just the acceptance of an idea. It is the rooting out, the investigation of ideas to find, in search of the truth, so to speak. So what we're in here is we're not separated from our true nature. We're not separated from it at all. We say we can't find it. We can't see anything else. But our true nature is not separated from us by some sort of mystical way. I swear to you. You may need, quote, a guru or teacher, as some of them say. You will if you do. And you may need a live one, and you will if you do. They are very, very helpful, but it's not required. Just understand that. The guru is there because the guru is you. Because it's just one thing going on. So you've got to be the guru. You've got to be the guru if there's going to be a guru. There's only one thing going on. So it's all about denial. When I get a person to a place where we have walked through, and they may have, this happened to me yesterday. That's the reason I'm doing it. Very nice guy. I was shocked to find out that there were issues at the end of our session, because he just came along beautifully. I mean, he just got it, and he got it, and he got it, and he got it until the end, and we didn't get it. Now, my strong suspicion is that he'll get it today or tomorrow or a week from now or something like that. I mean, it's nearly over for him, but it's not quite over. As I told him at the end, you have not failed in awakening. You have succeeded in hanging on to Mikeness for a while. And that's the truth. You're the one. You always get what you want. And the truth is, the oneness wanted to hang on to Mikeness there a little bit, but it wanted to flirt with me, and that's fine. I'm happy to flirt with myself. But I typically don't flirt with myself until I'm right ready to awaken. So that's the way it goes. At any rate, what happened is I took this guy through the first part of an awakening session. All of those of you who have been through one know what that's like. It's a lot of inquiry and investigation, and what we're really looking into is we're not looking for what you are, we're looking for what you're not. That's the whole point of the first half of an awakening. I say the first half, it's the first session. There are 2 rounds, round 1, round 2, and the first round of an awakening session is usually about 2/3 of the session. And that's just diving very deeply into what we are not. And the reason that I do that is I have discovered that although it's not actually that difficult to recognize your true nature, we've heard that it is not. If it was, I couldn't have done it with hundreds of people virtually every day for the last 2 years plus. So it's not that difficult to recognize our true nature, but it's difficult to accept our true nature. And what I have discovered is that almost nobody will accept what they find, even in an investigation with me, unless they will not accept who and what they are until they have first come to see, to their own satisfaction, who and what they are not. Typically, if we come to a conclusive seeing of who and what we are not, then there's typically an opening there. There's a window of opportunity into which I can then present what you are, and it'll be seen quite readily and accepted on a sliding scale depending upon how willing the client is to tell themselves the truth. That's what an awakening session is all about. That's what this video is all about, is telling ourselves the truth. Because that's the real key. That's all we have to do. The reason that you are not awake right this moment is that you are unable, quote, unable, certainly unwilling to tell yourself the truth. So, and you can't do anything about your willingness until it happens. So we could say unable, would be fair enough. You're just unable to tell yourself the truth until you're ready. You're unable until you're able. It's just that simple. So, but cooperating. See, because the problem is we want to be right in this thing, and we can stick to our guns. And say, well, all I can see is, is I only get it in my head, because I can just, I get it for just a moment and then it comes back. And for instance, the guy yesterday, I mean, he woke up, he knew who he was, and then boop, he refused it. And then he'd wake up and then I'd get him again, and then boop, refuse it. Just be seconds. You could watch it. It was like a light bulb going, like a dimmer switch. That was hilarious to me, but very frustrating to him. And I mean, it was frustrating to me only from the standpoint that I wanted him to have it if he was supposed to have it, and clearly that was my job. And so I worked with him very long and very hard. I went overtime and tried to help him get it. But here's what happens. So we're at this place where I'm saying, so you see what you're not. Is that correct? Yes, I see what I'm not. Thank you. What an amazing seeing it is, too. I see what I am not. So, and then I'll say something along the fact of, so whatever it is that's telling me I see what I'm not is not Mike. Is that right? And that'll usually throw somebody. Because see, up at that point, what they actually just agreed with me on was they think they agreed with me. Yes, I see that it's that there's no me, but that's not what they've actually just agreed to. That's the cover, and I've learned to work beyond that smoke screen to get to the heart of the thing. Because what most people are saying when they say that, virtually everybody, not everybody, but virtually everybody, will say, yes, I see it, and then I'll say, but the one who's seeing that, I see that there's no Mike. Well, who is it that sees that? Well, it's Mike. We're back to the bubble. Because when Mike looks out, Mike is all about outside. In other words, he's more interested in what he's looking at than who's looking. And what awakening is about is not about what you're looking at. It's about who's looking. It's about finding that looker. And what happens is when we get caught up in our little bubble, and because outside here this is truth and clarity. But when all I can see is my own thinking, I'm not very good at putting things in front of the camera, I'm sorry. But when all I can see is, I can only see myself. That's the thing. Is that who is it that sees there's no Mike? And when I look in there, all I can see is the inside of the bubble, which is me, my bubble, my little bubble. And nobody's put it there but me. And nobody can break it but me. And I look, and I'm looking on the inside of that bubble, and I say, well, I understand what you're saying, but all I can see is Mike. Isn't that right? All I can see is Mike. And it's because I'm not willing to tell myself the truth. I'm not willing to look outside the bubble. Outside of the bubble, there is the truth. Because the bubble is the non-existent bubble, but the theoretical bubble is what's separating me from my true nature, which is the Mike-ness, isn't it? Yes, it's my desire to hang on to Mike, because what I'm really trying to do here, of course, is I'm trying to wake Mike up. Good luck with that. So I tried to wake up Fred for a long, long time. I just could not do it. He was a slow learner too. I put this unit in front of the best teachers in the damn world, and he wouldn't wake up. So what I want you to do is to become willing to tell yourself the truth. Because what you can do is you can see this bubble, but you don't have to believe that bubble. You look at the bubble and you say, all I can see is Mike. And I say, well, no, wait a minute. We looked and we saw what you're not. Isn't that right? Yeah. What we never found a Mike. Isn't that right? Right, that's right. So you can't actually be a Mike. Is that right? Yeah. So the thing that just told me that can't be a mic. Is that right? Oh. I can't give it up. But the thing is, if once we've seen that truth, our job really is to claim that truth. I don't care if it lasts for a second. But if you see that truth, then understand that if you're not getting a clear seeing, and not all of us do, if we get what we can get, all of us get whatever we can stand at any one time. So when we see the truth, we must claim it. We must be willing to say, that's the truth. If the truth has got to be, if I've got to be seeing the truth 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, I am almost surely not going to wake up if I insist on that. Because it's going to come and go. Because there are these patterns here. And these patterns are not what wake up. The patterns are Fredness. And Fred or Fredness, neither one, wakes up. The patterns don't wake up. And Fred is not even here, so he certainly can't wake up. So, what I have to be willing to do is to trust my deepest seeing and doubt my doubts. Because that's one of the things that he said, because he's read it, which is that, there will be no, but I will come to a point where there'll be no doubt. Yeah. I mean, I'm there. But I didn't wake up there. Man, I spent a long time where it was like, oh, I got this thing, and I know I had it, but then now I've lost it. And by the mere saying that now I've lost it, what I'm saying is I can't even remember the truth of what I had. Because you can't remember it. You can only be it. We talk about seeing your true nature, and that's true. It's skillful means, but all we can really ever do is be it. Be it. So be willing to accept the fact that I'm in a bubble, but the bubble isn't true. The bubble is showing me that I don't think I'm quite getting this. This is what the bubble, because the bubble, when I talk, the bubble talks back at me. My God, I'm poor at that. So it's the bubble talks back to me. My voice bounces off, and here's what it says. It says, "Oh, I don't think I'm quite getting it. I'm really close." And oh yeah, I'm right at it. Oh, God Almighty! If just something overwhelming would happen that will force me to wake up against my will, because that's what we really want. We want to wake up. We want somebody to make us wake up, so that we don't have to give ourselves up. We want our egos to be taken away, and I can't do that. Neither can anybody else. They can help you with a lot of skillful people out there. But nobody can actually do it for you. We can lead you to the edge, but you have to jump. And this guy was so clear that we were sitting there, and I said, "Can you believe this?" And he was going, "No." I mean, it's just because he could see. On the one hand, he would say, "Yes, I see this," and the next moment I would reword the question, because that's what we do. Is I reword things again and again and again, just to bring out any doubts, so that we can address them, because we can almost always see through them. We can almost always see through them, penetrate them, so that they drop. Or at least we get a handle on the fact that, oh, okay, so even when, because here's the point, am I willing, even when I do not feel like I am awakeness, am I willing to accept the fact that I am anyway? See, because that's the thing, is that what I've got to be willing to accept confusion. And confusion is not that I had this thing and lost it. Confusion is that I have this thing and I can't see it. That's the key. It's so much better to approach this thing from the standpoint of I am already awake, which is absolutely true, I promise you that. And I just need to be able to accept my true nature. Because you can actually see your true nature all the time. Here it is. Can't see anything else. I mean, I'm not saying that this is, you're limited to even this, but this is the best reflection you'll ever get, at least in this life. Be willing to break the bubble Be willing to pop the bubble. And what's going to pop that bubble is going to be doubts about the reality of the bubble. What we do is we have doubts about the reality of our breakthrough. And that's just not the right thing to be doubting. The right thing to be doubting is not, did I actually wake up or not? No. Doubt, damn, it feels like, it feels just like this is like I'm Fred. Like I'm Fred, it feels just like I'm Fred Davis. I swear to God, it's unbelievable. Because I know deep down that I am not, and I am willing to act on that by doubting that. Because you'll break that doubt from the inside. That bubble is very easy to break from the inside, and it is impossible to break from the outside. And barring, direct hammer blow from God, and those are very rare, if they exist. So, be willing to accept what you get. Because what we all want is more. We're addicted to more. That's what's the problem with us reading we can't see our true nature now. Is because, well, I don't want this. I want some other this. I want a special this. I want a really, a different this. I want more. And then when we get more, we say, I want more. I want this. I want to be crushed with truth. And I was not crushed with truth. I mean, I was at one. I was one of those people who just had a boo-boo, but it's a big sort of awakening a couple of times. But it's not. But they're not necessary to get in your way. And I was, and the thing is that I was crushed with truth and came right back anyway. My ego rebuilt and started rebuilding in very, very short order. The first time it was rebuilding within minutes or seconds, even. I mean, it was just unbelievable. So don't think that because you have that big dynamic spiritual experience that's the thing that will keep you from having to go through oscillation and doubt. It's not. Odds are, if you have that big time of spiritual experience, you're going to go through worse oscillation and worse doubt than somebody who doesn't, and that's the truth. That most convincing display of lights and visions and all of that stuff, if you get hallucinations, what they are, if you get that stuff, the odds are very strong that it's going to become an impediment for you. Don't angle for that. Take the little bits. Take what you get. Take what you get instead of bitching about what you've got. That's my thing. Tell yourself the damn truth. This thing is so simple. So, thanks. See you later. It was fun. Bye.